one. You don't require assistance. Very well. You know, you look very different, foreign. I've seen people from all over Abarrach, and you look like none of them. Who are you? Where are you from? I'm from a remote place. Clytus studies you for a moment in silence. A slight smile touches his lips, but leaves his eyes cold and piercing. Where are my manners? You've probably been traveling for some time and are very hungry. I've been forcing you to converse while all of this food is laying here, getting cold. You have my leave to partake. We will talk more later, I'm sure. Okay. You dive into the food and find it surprisingly good. The feast is comprised of steaming meats and vegetables, none of which you recognize. After the first course shared by Clytus, at the far end of the table, the Dynas produces a bottle of red wine from the bar behind him and pours a single glass. He orders a dead servant to take the glass from his hand and place it before you. Please accept this special wine. I only bring it out for special occasions. I'm sure you'll find it to be unique. He stares at you like a vulture, waiting for you to drink from the crystal glass. You notice that he is not holding a similar glass. You start to feel a little uncomfortable. You place the glass on the table and say, I think I'll save this for later, if that's all the same. It is not the same, my friend. You will drink that wine, and you will do it now. I've lost all patience with you. He rises from the table and traces a spell in the air while you watch dumbfounded. The blue rune shoots across the banquet table and explodes in your chest. You expect to feel some pain, but all you notice is an overwhelming hunger. You begin stuffing your mouth and pockets with food and drink. In spite of yourself, you snatch up the crystal goblet and drain the contents. Clytus smiles and sits back down, satisfied. Immediately, you start to feel dizzy. Something in the wine makes the room swirl around you. You drop to the chair, hard. In a fog, you hear Clytus saying, I know you, patron. Our books talk about your race. We believe them to be legends, but here we have proof. And if you are real, how many more of the other legends could be true? The other realms? The Death Gate? Abarrach is dying. There's no way to save it. But you represent a way into new worlds, fresh lands to conquer. After you are dead, your corpse will tell me everything I wish to know. You will help me destroy your own people. Think on this as the poison eats through your body. Guards, remove this trash. Soldiers grab you roughly from the chair and drag you down long winding corridors, Clytus's laughter echoing in your ears. You quickly lose track of the route, your aching midsection demanding all of your attention. Soon you are thrown against a cold stone wall and shackles snap around your wrists. You slump to the floor as the guards stroll from the room, laughing at some private joke. You gather enough strength to look around the room. It is a stone cell. One wall has an open doorway, suggesting that manacles are what keep prisoners from escaping. A peg on the wall is home to a key in the ring, which looks like it might fit the lock on your shackles. It is, of course, out of reach. Another occupant of the cell is chained to the same wall that holds you prisoner. A thin crown along his brow attracts your attention. This Sardan boy is some kind of royalty. Why is he confined in a dungeon is beyond you. The paleness of his skin, the occasional grunt and spasm, all lead you to believe that he has had the same share of Clytus's poison as well. Alright, let's talk to him. Hello, my friend. It looks like we're both in the same boat. So much for relying on the hospitality of strangers. He ends his statement with a painful grimace and a swift intake of breath. Who are you? My name is Edmund, and I'm the Crown Prince of Telestia. You couldn't tell I was royalty by the deluxe accommodations. Who are you? Why were you put here? It's a long story. I come from Telestia, a city on the outer edges of Abarrach. A few years ago, our water supply started to dry up. Balthasar, the royal necromancer, studied the problem and discovered that the Colossus was failing. The magic that sustained us for thousands of years was ebbing. We knew that our time was limited. We boarded everyone onto our ships and set sail for the Fire Sea. None of us had been there before, but Balthasar's ancient maps indicated our route. The trip was perilous. What's more, our ships hadn't been used for thousands of years, since we first came to Telestia. By the time we arrived, we had lost many of our people, including the king, my father. Therefore, I became my people's leader. Our intended destination was this palace. We had never seen the palace or met the Dynas that ruled us. Instead of arriving on his doorstep with a few thousand refugees, I decided to leave them in a warren of natural caves that we discovered and come here as an envoy. I thought that Clytus and I could speak and decide where my people could live. I arrived at the palace alone. He greeted me with open arms and invited me to a banquet. My people have been living on withered corn grass for months, so I must admit that a banquet sounded appetizing. During the meal, he began to question me. The questions were innocent at first, but became more probing and less veiled as Clytus continued. He asked military questions. What was the size of our forces, and where were the troops bivouacked? I think that's bivouacked. It's a weird word. Suddenly he was sounding less like a benevolent leader and more like a king bent on eliminating any threats to his power or strains on his kingdom's food supply. Just as I stood up and announced that I wished to take my leave, a sharp pain doubled me over. Clytus simply looked over and smiled. He explained that the wine in my cup had been poisoned, and that, after it killed me, he would drag the answers from my corpse. His guards brought me down here and locked me up. Now I'm just waiting to die. What is this Colossus? The Colossus is a stone spire infused with magic of the ancients. It heats the world and slowly melts the celestial sea, a huge body of ice which feeds water throughout Abarrach. For some reason it is failing. Our water supply is dried up. It doesn't make any sense. According to Balthasar's books, the Colossus was designed to last forever. He hoped to examine the Colossus and perhaps help to mend it, but now we'll never get the chance. By ignoring the problem and focusing on his own petty self-interests, Clytus is sealing our world's doom. Where is the Colossus? The Colossus is in Clytus's palace. It lies at the center of the ancient catacombs which run through the palace's foundation. The entrance is right across from this dungeon. Although Balthasar's book states this, they don't show the path through the catacombs. It said that only the Dynas knows the way. Where are your people now? They're safely tucked away in the secret caves along the edge of the fire sea. Clytus would give his eye teeth to know where. If somehow we managed to escape, we would still be stranded here with no way to cross the sea. I've got a ship. For the first time since you met him, you see the prince brighten. A tiny ray of hope makes Edmund's eyes sparkle. The chances of escape are slim, but it is nice to know that we'll have a way across the sea if we do. I really care how long he's been here. Now let's back up a step. Why were you put here? It's a long story. I come from Telestia's city on the edges. Oh, I already read that. I guess how long have you been here? Not long, less than a day, surely. I fear that I can't hold out much longer, though. The poison has ravaged my system. It appears for some reason to be working faster on you. Perhaps you received a larger dose. I doubt that you have more than a couple hours left. Why didn't you send someone as your envoy? Everyone under my rule is important. There are no nobodies. I would risk myself before I would send someone else into danger. Can your people pose a threat? We're mostly peaceful folk, but we have some reserves of dead fighting troops. That doesn't matter much, though. While Clytus holds the scepter of rulership, he could turn my army into dust before he even got into position. Isn't Telestia quite a ways from here? Yes, it was a long, perilous journey which claimed my father. It was rather hard to accept that it was all for nothing. Well, my name's Haplo. I'd shake your hand, but I'm kind of tied up. Very nice to meet you, Haplo. Any enemy of Clytus is a friend of mine. Oh my god, so much stuff to talk about. I think I'm poisoned. That would be the poison. You've experienced Clytus' special welcome. It appears that he likes to invite strangers to a banquet, extract whatever information he can while pretending to be friendly, and then poison them. After they die, he resurrects the corpses to have them answer any remaining questions. Don't feel special. It happened to me as well. What happens? Isn't there an antidote? There is an antidote, though it's unlikely we'll ever get our hands on it. I overheard some of the guards talking about it. When they were planning to sneak wine from the banquet room's bar, the bar contains a variety of liqueurs in a wide array of colors. As you are aware, the poison wine is in a red bottle. The antidote is in a clear bottle. It's useless to even think about it, though. Even if we could get out of these chains, we'd never make it past all the guards. Do you know any way out of here? In fact, I do. One of Balthasar's old books showed a secret passage out of the palace's foundation. If we were unfettered, I might be able to find that passage. Alright, what about the dog? That's Clytus' personal hunting hound. The guards have orders to let him go anywhere he wants, so he has run of the palace. He's probably here because he's curious. They don't get many new visitors. I don't hold it against the hound that he belongs to Clytus. He seems nice enough. Until you came, he was my only company. He's a good listener. That's an interesting medallion. Can I have it? I'm afraid not. It belonged to my ancestor and has been passed from father to son for centuries. I treasure it with my life. I don't really care about anything else. I understand. I'm feeling sick and tired myself. I'm sure it's the poison, not the conversation. Alright, let's save. That dog's gonna prove useful. And I guess we have food. So let's make him hungry. You trace the rune structure in the air. It floats over to the curious dog, who attempts to take a bite out of it. Instead, it sinks into his body. Immediately, the dog begins to salivate. It looks around for something to eat, anything. Alright, here you go, doggy. You toss a steak toward the dog and lands about a foot away from you. The ravenous dog leaps over to the meat and tears into it. Hehehehe. I'm going to possess you. Cast. You trace the runes in the air and place your hand on the dog's fluffy fur. The magic swiftly takes hold. You stiffen as you feel your soul passing away. Everything spins and you begin to panic. It all goes dark. The darkness doesn't last long. You quickly come to your senses, but instantly discover that they aren't the same senses you've come to expect. Your vision now only perceives the world in shades of gray, although your hearing and sense of smell have been enhanced. You realize that you inhabit the body of the dog, and that this dog has been trained to track game by smell. This must be the body of Cletus's royal hunting hound. Ah. Well, we're going to take the key. You bite down on the key and slide the ring from the peg in the wall. Let's give the key to me. You lay the key ring by your motionless body. Now this is where it's hard. You can kind of see where you have to go. The ways you can go are different shades of gray. You're in one of the many passages that run up through the palace's foundation. A stairway leads up to more populated areas. You pad up the stairs, passing a number of alert guards. They pat you on the head and smile, but allow you to pass. It seems that this dog has run at the palace. After a bit of exploration, which involves sticking your nose into a lot of empty rooms, you discover the original banquet room that you were escorted to. You've taken a good deal of time to locate it, however, and you're very worried about the condition of your body. A long table takes up most of the banquet hall, but there is also a wet bar with several bottles near the end. Now this would be difficult to know, but I know it's this one. You grab onto the neck of the bottle with your canine teeth and slide it out of the bar. It is simply a glass bottle filled with some kind of liquid. You can't identify the color of the liquid or the bottle because, as a dog, you can only make out shades of gray.